It was a story that happened a long time ago in my village, and I heard it from my grandmother on an occasion when I returned to my hometown. At the time, my family had a funeral. I went with my parents to my hometown to attend the funeral in a gloomy atmosphere. After the ceremony, I looked at my grandmother and saw her looking at the coffin with sad eyes. I was worried, so I went over to talk to her. My grandmother had lived in this village for a long time, so she understood everything that happened in there. She told me a very famous Retribution story. When she was a child, there was a large migration in my village with people from different regions moving here. Among them was a family with 3 brothers. People didn't know how much money they brought into the village, but 3 brothers were able to build a large mansion on the east side of the village. Many people noticed and speculated that these 3 brothers were doing illegal business, so they hid there. I wouldn't matter if the eldest brother, who did not know who to listen to, invited his 2 youngest brothers to find an abandoned grave and worship in the attic for blessings and prosperous business. The 3 of them discussed going to the forest to find an abandoned grave because my village was a place of war at that time and there were countless abandoned graves. The following morning, all 3 brothers blew trumpets and drums and then went into the forest to find an abandoned grave. Many people in the village did not pay much attention because they thought it was a religious custom in their hometown of 3 people. After entering the forest, one of the 3 found a grave covered with weeds, likely covered with a large mound of earth, but without a tombstone. All 3 brothers were overjoyed. They thought they had found an abandoned grave. They immediately performed a grave digging ceremony to bring the deceased's remains to their home. After worshipping, the 3 brothers blew trumpets and drums, brought the body of the person lying in the grave home and worshipped it like a family member. After the funeral was completed, the 3 brothers put the body in a large coffin and placed it in the attic with many offerings. This story reached the ears of the people in the village. They thought that this was a way for the 3 brothers to get rich, so they talked about it and demanded to learn in the 3 brothers' own way. Until one day, at the door of the 3 brothers' house appeared an older woman dressed in rags, hurriedly banged on the door with an extremely urgent gesture. The 3 brothers did not understand what was going on and opened the door. As soon as she saw the 3 of them, the older woman pointed her finger and said that all 3 had stolen her husband's grave. When the eldest brother heard it, he angrily chased the older woman out, thinking that the old woman wasted her mind talking nonsense, and then stormed inside the house. The older woman was chased away, but she refused to accept it. She kept hugging her husband's photo, sitting in front of the 3 brothers' door to reclaim her husband's body. Curious people in the village asked about the story and learned the beginning and the end of the story. Everyone felt dissatisfied with the work of these 3 brothers. The men in the village, seeing this, invited each other to go to the house of the 3 brothers to claim justice for the older woman and reclaim the older man's body. Everyone rushed with sticks and rushed to ask the 3 brothers to return the older woman's husband's body back to its original position. At first, the 3 brothers always denied it, making many people in the village angry. People demanded to go to the attic to see the body for verification. At this moment, the 3 brothers revealed their true nature as delinquents. They used guns to suppress the people in the village. The youngest brother refused to negotiate with the people in the village, blatantly shot and threatened to make everyone panic. The whole village at the time was in an uproar, thinking that these brothers were thieves and robbers from elsewhere and determined to live and die with them. But with their aggressive nature, the 3 brothers still refused to return the body part and threatened to shoot anyone who dared to take the body away. While fighting and exchanging words, the older woman accidentally tripped on a stone on the ground and fell backwards. The fall caused the older woman to hit her head hard on the steps. She was stunned and died on the spot. The older woman's accident made everyone in the village sad. After knowing that the older woman died alone without children plight, the people held her funeral for her. Her body was placed in a coffin built by the villagers and a small worship ceremony was held. A single funeral took place in solitude in just one day. The older woman's body was buried by the villagers. Her grave was placed right at the older man's dug grave. Not long after the older woman's funeral took place, my grandmother often went with her great-grandmother to visit the older woman's house to smoke incense. The great-grandmother accidentally saw the older woman's husband's photo and panicked when she saw that his left eye was gouged out with a large hole. After seeing that, my grandmother was scared. The great-grandmother tried to comfort her. Then she explained that the older man had a broken eye in the past, so when making a picture of the shrine, they had to blur his damaged eye to avoid causing fear to those who were afraid to visit. Later, it was discovered that the older woman clutched another photo of her husband and carried it to the grave with her. Not long after, the eldest brother went to find a matchmaker in the village, bringing some money to ask her to make a maid for a beautiful young girl. Thinking that the matchmaker would agree with the money, the eldest brother was kicked out by herself and mercilessly cursed for the cruel actions of the three brothers before. The eldest brother could not persuade the matchmaker to leave with pity, but from then on, he became disgusted with the whole village. He went to the neighboring village to marry a stupid girl, and then he held a lavish wedding to show his prestige to the people in the village. He then took his wife to live in this lavish mansion with his two younger brothers. After living for a while, the wife became pregnant. While the eldest brother's wife was pregnant, the middle brother also started to marry a girl from another village. Next, the youngest brother also held a wedding. The wedding of the three brothers all had one thing in common, which was to organize a great party, but no one attended but the poor beggars. All three still thought that this thing was a good action. After a few days, the wife and the eldest brother suddenly went into labor and was about to give birth. Seeing this, the eldest brother sent someone to find the most famous midwife in the village to deliver his wife's birth. His wife gave birth to a child very easily. She gave birth to a beautiful white son within a few hours. Looking at the red beautiful baby, the eldest brother felt happy, thanking the midwife that day. The first son seemed to take over the love of the eldest brother, but only after the midwife left did the child suddenly change. The eldest brother looked at his son in shock. He didn't believe that he would have to face this cruel truth one day. The baby just opened his eyes to look at his father, revealing a broken left eye, very scary and white. The eldest brother immediately invited the magician to ask him to check the baby's fate. After learning that this child was karma for digging the graves of three brothers, the eldest brother heartlessly left his child in the forest in the cold snow to die. The people in the village immediately spread the story of the three brothers who met with such retribution that they gave birth to a child who lost an eye. This story gradually became an obsession for the three of them, causing all three to continuously pray for the older man lying in the coffin in the attic for help. Day by day, rumors were increasing that no one dared to approach the house of the three brothers. Their entire large mansion was also locked and bolted, not communicating with anyone, creating a dark and scary atmosphere. Not long after that, it was the middle brother's wife's turn to give birth. This time, the eldest brother found a shaman to ask for doing the expiration ceremony. But luck did not come to the unfortunate girl when the midwife said that the middle brother's wife had difficulty giving birth. After giving birth to a son, the wife began to bleed and could only choose to save the mother of the child. The husband immediately asked the shaman to come in and see that the wife was lying on the bed. The wife grabbed the shaman's hand, begged him to save his son, and stopped breathing. The shaman was powerless to find a way to save the child's life and accept to sacrifice the mother. The death of his wife made the middle brother feel very sad, but he could only put his hope on his only child. The shaman stood outside and told the eldest brother about his family's retribution. But no matter what the shaman said, the eldest still didn't believe it, insisting that this was nonsense. It was not until the child was brought out that the shaman appeared surprised. He looked at the baby with a completely damaged eye. The condition was worse than that of the eldest brother's child. This child was born prematurely, so he died soon after and was buried in a deep forest. A mournful atmosphere enveloped the whole house, making many people feel suffocated. For a while, all three brothers discussed that they would bring the bodies of the middle brother's wife and son to be buried next to each other to save their grief. But no matter what he did, the middle brother still suffered from the insults and gossip of the villagers. Because he couldn't bear it anymore, the middle brother silently carried all his luggage and then quietly disappeared. The eldest brother then picked up his luggage and left the village, going to another place to live, leaving the youngest brother and his wife behind. As time passed, when my grandmother was an adult, she accidentally met my mother and daughter on the street playing with each other. The child was also very awkward walking. He walked unsteadily as if he couldn't see one side. My grandmother was curious, so she went to check it out and discovered that this child was the son of the youngest brother. The child turned to look at my grandmother with a broken white eye. Looking at the child's damaged eye, my grandmother immediately remembered the older man with a broken eye she saw in the photo on the day of the disaster in the village. At this point, my grandmother began to sigh, showing pity for the fate of innocent children. After that, Grandma said I have to live well, otherwise no one could help me. At this moment, I remembered the man I accidentally met on the street, curled up in the corner of the village, smoking, with a sad, lonely attitude and a broken eye.